2, 1.
I'm so excited. Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Good Place Collective. I'm Sarah. We have Tammy and Lindsay, my wonderful co-founders, here with us for Coffee with the Collective. And we have the wonderful Kasia Rachfall here. Hi, Kasia. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Kasia is a coach, healer, and mentor to spiritual entrepreneurs, and I am so excited that she's here to tell us a little bit more about what it is that she does.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Kasia, we're so thrilled to have you here. And for those of you who don't know, my name's Lindsay, and I met Kasia shortly after I moved to Kelowna area, and we were just talking about it. We met at a Storytelling Tuesday event, and she was like a vocal artist, which is super cool to just kind of learn how we all intertwine and how our lives evolve over the last 3 years. And so, Kasia, I would love to hear more about what you're doing right now in terms of like business and your offerings.
For sure, I'd love to. It seems way longer than 3 years ago that we met. I feel like I've known you forever.
Isn't that funny too? And it's like you can know somebody and you're like, haven't we been together like all this time?
All the time.
Lindsay has that effect on people.
I do have that effect on people.
Totally. So yeah, I do dabble in intuitive art, but my passion has always been human potential and human growth work. And so I have been a life coach for the last 10 years, and my niches have sort of, ebbed and flowed and changed, but my core work has really stayed the same because I believe that we can choose to change when we want. And when I discovered that, my world just completely opened up. And I was able to heal, from my own stuff and really embrace this idea that I can actually hold space for others to create change and transformation in their life. And as I've studied and learned and embraced new modalities and new information and new knowledge, my niche has really clarified for me that I'm here to hold space for specifically spiritual seekers and spiritual entrepreneurs, both men and women, who have this deep desire to be famous for the work they do in the world. And we're not necessarily talking about like celebrity fame or going viral on the internet. We're talking about sacred fame where it's based on connection and based on a deep knowing of self and a deep place of service, so that when that notoriety comes, they can leverage the influence they have and really serve even bigger. So what I find happens is that's a lot of visibility. Like using your voice and being seen to that degree is really freaking scary. And so we work a lot on mindset because our mind is like the number one thing that can derail us and make us not trust ourselves. So my work hasn't changed, but who I work with has clarified a lot. And I'm loving this path. Loving it.
Oh my gosh, Kasia,
That's
that's
amazing.
beautiful. The things that really stood out for me is just like the authenticity. And, I think as practitioners, we all want to be genuine. And, we can't help sometimes about that little voice that happens upstairs. And, we can show up as our best selves, but unless we're really working on ourselves to show up as our best selves, how do we continue to take up space, step into our power, and allow, like, as you were sharing, I just seen this like grandiose, so like stepping into power and like, this is who I am and this is how I can help. So, yeah. Wow.
It's awesome. It's also like I'm getting, this like clarification of purpose. It's like we can all like stand up and say, my name is Sarah Brown and I'm a hello work practitioner, or my name's Tammy Smith and I'm a hypnotherapist. But what's the purpose? Like, that's just, for me, I just kind of see that those are the tools that we use, but like, what is our purpose on earth? So it's great that you're helping people with that.
I think it's so beautiful. And you sound so clear as well. Like, you can tell that you've really done a lot of work with others and work with yourself. But I'm curious to hear a little bit more about your story. What inspired you even 10 years ago to step into work like this?
Well, gosh, we don't have all day, but I do have a sob story and a dark night of the soul story, several of those. But what I really landed into recently, I had this aha moment. I've been doing a lot of journaling, and I remembered that at one point, especially in the beginning of my own personal growth journey, I was really inspired by Wayne Dyer. He's like my first mentor. I just love him to bits. And I wanted to be like him. I wanted to be the next Wayne Dyer, especially for women when I first started out. And so I've dove into that, wondering, why is that? What is it that is the draw? Because he became famous for his work, but he didn't start out wanting to be a celebrity or anything. He wanted to inspire people and help people be their best selves. And so that's the fundamental piece that always drove me, is even when I was, had clinical depression and I had postpartum depression and I had all the things we go through life, that drove me, is I wanted to be better because he helped me believe in myself. And so my story, is probably much like anyone else's, where I was in pain, I did a bunch of work, and now I'm happy. I found that happiness. I was able to figure out what it is in us that leads us to happiness. And so, you can read my story on my blog at some point if you ever want the grisly details, but I'm here to be a teacher, and not like a teacher for kids, but a teacher and a mentor for especially adults, men and women who want that for themselves, like who are in a place where their mind is still derailing them all the time, and they're ruminating and they're not sure how to heal, and yet they believe in themselves. So I believe that's what Wayne Dyer did, and that's what I'm here to do.
Beautiful. That's amazing.
So amazing.
Yeah, I
So
can't wait to read about your
beautiful.
story, Kasia. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like on your blog right after this. I'm like, that's the story. I want all the details. Yeah.
Well, I remember the first time I spoke at storytelling, I actually shared like what I at that point thought was like my biggest shame of my life. And so it's actually on video. I can probably send you the link if you want. Yeah.
Isn't it interesting though, when we can find a voice for the story, as relevant or irrelevant as it becomes as time goes on, it's still such a growing point in our lives, and there's so many lessons there to be learned. And, it's interesting because even for you to review that story now, I'm sure you'd be like, oh my gosh, and then I met so-and-so, and then I traveled this avenue and I found this mentor, and, I was challenged in these ways, or, it's so fascinating as we, start connecting those dots, looking backwards, that every part and piece was like a really significant pawn in the life unfolding and the blossoming. And what I love about that is that, you're a real human being that had real human struggles, and you come by honestly and you've shared openly, and then you've utilized so many tools and modalities to be like, you know what, you too, me too. And now I can show you how to step into spirituality and how to reconnect into your power, and then feel confident stepping into that. And Kasia, I think that's so beautiful, because I think on a larger scale, we really get lost. We can really get lost in social media. We can really get lost in like the busy work, or, oh, I should, and, the shoulda, woulda, couldas, and we can dim our light in that way. So I'm so grateful to have you here and to have you part of the Good Place Collective online. It's just such an honor. And so I'd like to hear a little bit more about collaboration. Like, what does collaboration mean to you?
To me, collaboration is really about creating win-win-win scenarios. And it's interesting because even I always bring it back to this idea of sacred fame, because when you have that level of influence, whether it's locally or globally, you have the power to improve other people's lives, including your own. And I believe we all deserve to benefit. Just because you have a gift that you're sharing doesn't mean you don't get to benefit. And so collaboration at its basis for me is connection, and making sure that not only I get to be generous and I get to receive back, but the person I'm collaborating with gets to be generous and receive back. And then the end user or the end receiver, whether it's our client or a foundation or a charity, that they also benefit and they get to receive back. So it's like as many wins as you can put in there. That's what it's about for me.
Oh my gosh.
Love that.
Well said.
That's so great. Wow.
It's so inspiring. I love hearing different viewpoints of collaboration.
Yeah, me too.
A lot of it is the foundation is so similar, but I love hearing the different verbalizations and the different yeah, just
Yeah, the different ways of putting it.
yeah, totally. The emotion behind it. And, you know,
Mhm.
it's so fascinating. I think about when I started in business and I felt a lot of competitive, you know, mindset, and it was me, mine. And there felt like this level of scarcity, you
Mhm.
know, and it was a really hard lesson to learn that actually we can all do better and we can all be better when we
Totally.
unite and come together. So
Totally.
when we talk about business and like inclusivity, like what does it mean for you to be like inclusive or to feel inclusive within a community?
I don't actually even believe in competition. I think we're all here to be such unique individuals, and we might, you know, have modalities that we all share.
Mm-hmm.
Or that we, you know, like I'm also trained in hypnotherapy. That's how I started out. I have all kinds of different trainings, but it's not something I do. I could, but I don't, like Tammy, right? So that not everybody will resonate with Tammy, not everybody will resonate with me. So
Right.
I think we need all of us to, so that we can include everyone in whatever it is that they want to achieve in their life, whether it's, you know, achieve the highest potential they can or just feel a little bit better right now because they've got stuff going on. We need all of us because we all have a different voice, we all have different experience and a different lens with which we view the world. And so to be able to include anyone and everyone who needs help, right, we need us. And, you know, beyond that, inclusivity, I think it's so important for us to not just, I guess, live with tolerance, but actually live with reverence for people and respect and love for everyone, no matter where they come from or whether they're blue, purple, or green. It doesn't matter, right? We need all of us to love ourselves so much that we love others so much. So
Right.
to me,
That's so
inclusivity has
beautiful.
all these pieces.
That's was so eloquently said, and just
Mm-hmm.
that piece about bringing this work to the world. It's our responsibility as healers, health and wellness professionals, that kind of thing, whether holistic or not. It's so important, and there's so many people who have yet to utilize our services and to get that out there, get it out there so that they know there's alternative ways to deal with their pain or their grief or their depression or whatever it might be. It's beautiful. And yeah, there's space for all of us. I totally agree with that. And I used to be of that type of person like Lynn's, you know, with that whole scarcity thing, right? It's like, no, this is, you know, we're meant to get this out there. It's our responsibility to get this out there and to get as many people as we can.
Yeah.
In this type of
I agree too with what you said, Kasia, about, you know, like something I learned very strongly in my hello work training was that, you know, even if there was 100 other hello work practitioners in Kelowna, that's not competition, that's growth. And that's something we should be really excited about. And so and that's what we're trying to create with the Good Place Collective is, you know, it's not about like, oh, somebody already does that. It's like, no, come on in, because you have a different voice and a different perspective that you can bring in.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, there's something beautiful about that. And the bigger the community, the more impact we can make, which is exactly what Tammy is talking about.
100%.
Well, and I think it all adds into that continual, like it's like this big love pot, if you will, you know, and we're continuously adding like inspiration and mentorship, and you know, and even with inclusivity, you know, there's going to be people that are kind of new to a business or new to their modality, but they're so passionate. And you know, what stands out for me, and I had heard on a podcast like forever ago, but it's, you know, if you're in business, it's okay to like reach back, pull someone else up, right? Like, don't feel like you're so on this. It's like, it's a big pot, and there's so much, there's more than enough to go around, no matter where you are, where your skill set is. And it's just so beautiful. And I love that. It's like that reach back and pull someone up. Like, don't have judgment, don't overthink it, don't there doesn't have to be a story around it, right?
Right.
You know, united. And I just see like that beautiful, not like I just feel this like, this linked arms, right? Linked arms and full force of love. I feel it like the Care Bear stare.
Care bearing the world.
Yeah.
Totally. Oh my gosh, but in human form.
Totally. Yeah.
Banding together to raise the world's vibration.
Well, it's that I heard a quote once. This is my favorite quote. It's been like my guiding light, that a candle loses nothing by lighting another candle.
Wow.
I don't know who said it, but it just gives me chills every time I think of it, I have it like on my wall because it's such a driving force for me. I forget sometimes, but then I have these reminders.
I'm gonna write that down. I love that. I'm like all
That is
goosebumpy.
amazing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh.
Really great.
Kasia,
Wow.
that's so, I love it. It's beautiful.
Thank you so much for being here, Kasia. We appreciate you. I'm so honored to have the opportunity to get to know you a little bit better. So I know we've met a couple of times in person, but
Mhm.
it's fabulous. You're such a sunny, wonderful human. I'm
Thank
so
you.
excited that you're here
I
and be able to
appreciate
work
that.
with
Thank
you
you.
and collaborate with you on some stuff. We definitely need
Mhm.
to look at that as well moving forward.
Yeah,
Ideas
absolutely.
popping.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
right.
Yeah. If there was anybody that you wanted to like work closely with, Kasia, or if there was like some collaborative opportunities, like is there something kind of fun or a project that you've wanted to like put together, but maybe just felt like you needed a little support with?
Well, right now I'm looking to increase my own visibility, and so I love doing this, chatting with people, and so I'm looking to be on podcasts and show up in places
We've
where
got
I
a
can.
girl for you in
Heck
New
yeah.
City.
There
Check
you
it out.
So that's, I co-hosted a podcast for a couple of years with a friend, and we're sort of revamping it slowly, and we're thinking of relaunching
That's exciting.
in
Great.
September. So we will be looking for guests and things like that. It's just like we're doing it our way. We're raging against whatever formulas are out there, and we're both moms, we're both business owners. Like this stuff takes time, but in the meantime, yeah, just looking to talk to people and spread this message.
Yeah, fantastic.
So
Great.
beautiful.
Thank you so much for being here today, Kasia. We appreciate you so much. Please tell us where we can find you online, and also we'll put that in the comments.
Sure. My website is kasiarachfall.com, and so I'll let you spell that below because it's a little bit interesting with my background. That's where I usually hang out, and also Facebook and Instagram under the same name.
Okay, perfect. Thanks so much, girl.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Thank you
Okay,
so much,
everyone, have a
Kasia.
very awesome,
Pleasure.
blessed day, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye for now.